Alright, we're rock and rolling. So, a couple days ago, on Thanksgiving, I went out caching in like 15-degree weather, and it was way too cold for me. My fingers were freezing. Both the caches I was looking for were frozen solid. That video is still up, so you can take a look at the playback. But one of the caches is actually mine, one that I placed in September. So I had said on stream that I was going to come back when it was warmer. That's today. You can kind of see and hear it's another rainy day. So I wanted to come back out here and scope it out and see if my cache is actually stuck in the gate post where it's lodged in winter. Meaning it rains a little bit, it ices over, or it'll snow a little bit and it'll be snowed in and it's not accessible. I had said on stream that I was going to try and bring some sort of device to leverage it out of the gate post, and now that it's a couple days later, I've realized that some caches just aren't winter friendly, and that's okay. So I will just mark it as not winter friendly and make a note in the description of the cache if it is in fact lodged in there for good. Hopefully it's not, but if it is and the cache is truly a lost cause, then I'll write that in the description and people won't be able to access it until spring. So it's a rainy day here in Massachusetts. This is my last day before I head back to the Mid-Atlantic area. And my family is all back at work, but my parents have 3 dogs, and I thought I would take one of the dogs with me. He does not like the rain, however, so I'll show you what we're doing. He's riding my jacket. This is Dwight. He's a 3-year-old Chihuahua, and he's kind of a jerk, but he's nice to me. So he let me put this holiday sweater on him. And he does not want to get his paws wet. So he's riding in my jacket. And he's coming caching with us today. So that's us on this just truly scenic, beautiful Monday morning. I know. Who brings you outside in the wet? See, what's hard about this little guy is you want to treat him like a baby and, kind of like a toy or a stuffed animal because he's 6 pounds, but he has to be treated like every other dog, obviously. Alright, I'll show you where we're going. So I'm going to try and adjust the bit rate because I'm out in the woods here, or out in a suburban area heading into the woods. And what I've noticed from my last few wood streams is that it's been a little bit choppy. So feel free to let me know in the chat always if there's a problem with the stream quality, and I'll adjust it as best I can. traversing just a little bit of snow here. This is why I'm carrying Dwight, because he would definitely not stand for that snow. This is Dwight. He's a 3-year-old Chihuahua. So I guess he's not quite a puppy, but he's still a puppy to me because he's the runt of his litter. He's 6 pounds. I started out by trying to walk him on the leash, and he's in this nice little cozy sweater because Chihuahuas are not built for New England in winter. And he was not going to move or walk, so he's tucked inside my jacket. I'm holding on to him pretty well. No need to worry, but just like my parents, he's one of my parents' 3 dogs. Just like their other dogs, he has to be sort of, taken outside and treated like an animal. So that's why he's coming outside with us. It's good for him to get fresh air. You can't just be a couch potato all the time. I will say, though, that none of the other dogs have sweaters. Alright. So, shout out to Captain Howie, who reminded me that today, or he saw a notification about how today is the first day of hunting season in Massachusetts for deer hunting. And that is correct. So for those who are watching and might be a little bit worried about me out here in what appear to be the woods, I am in a woodsy section of the suburbs right now in Massachusetts, but there is no hunting allowed where I am and in this particular area and where the cache is hidden that we're going to today, so no need to be worried. I suppose I could have taken an extra precaution and worn my orange vest. Always good to be safe than sorry, but we're going to come up to a clearing here in a couple more paces, so you'll see what I mean when I say no hunting. Rabbit season or duck season? It's deer season, actually, here in Massachusetts. Yeah, here through mid-December, depending on what type of firearms you're using. I know a couple streams ago we were out in Massachusetts and we were hearing gunshots in the background, and we were wondering on stream if it was hunters or what, and it ended up being a gun range. I didn't find that out till later. We were caching in the woods that abuts kind of a gun range in the suburbs. So we're coming up on this cache now that I visited on Thanksgiving Day. It was 15 degrees out here and the cache was frozen solid. This is my own cache that I placed out here. So this is the clearing where there's no hunting allowed. This is actually a trail used by the public for horseback riding, biking, and hiking. So yeah, this is my cache. I came out here when it was 15 degrees on Thanksgiving. It was frozen solid. I just want to make sure you can see this is the gate post. This is the gate on this trail. I want to make sure it's not frozen in there for good. There it is. Aha! Nice. You can see it's an old pill container with duct tape wrapped around it to disguise it from passersby. So in the top of the gate post, if you're walking by, unless you know what to look for, maybe you wouldn't notice just the black duct tape here. We can see I put the geocaching logo on the top. And I'm just going to make sure the log isn't waterlogged. So this is sort of typical for good cache maintenance. No, and the log is dry, not waterlogged. There are stones in the bottom that people can swap. People have been trading rocks in here since I placed it in September. Cache is dry. There's a little golf pencil in there. Awesome. So when it was frozen solid in the top of the gate post, I was worried that it was not going to be accessible in winter because the snow would fall on top of the gate post and then trap it in here. And then my concern coming out here in below freezing temperatures was that the snow would melt and then it would get iced in here. And that's exactly what happened when I came out here on Thanksgiving. So I'm just going to go back and make a note in the description of this cache online that if it's icy, if it's below freezing temperatures, to keep an eye out that you may not be able to wrestle the cache out of here because it has been frozen into kind of this well that's been naturally formed in the top of the gatepost. I didn't damage the gatepost to places in here. It was like this when I found it. What pills were in there initially? Yeah, I'm not sure. It was just an old washed out clean pill bottle lying around. I believe it was my parents' house because I'm in Massachusetts up visiting for the holidays. So now we're gonna move right along. Dwight he's over this. If I put him down to walk, he'll just lay down on the ground, even though it's more wet on the ground. You're doing such a good job. You're doing such a good job. Okay. So it's actually a beautiful trail. Yeah. I'm a huge dog person. My parents have 3 dogs, so all dogs are adorable to me. I have a dog of my own. But today we just brought one because it's a little much to balance dog walking and carrying the tripod and the camera and all that good stuff. So this is the trail that we were caching yesterday too, just in a different part. This trail runs throughout all of New England and it connects town to town to town. The cache that I have placed that we just went to is ranked as a 1.5 difficulty over terrain. So the 1.5 terrain rating means that it's not wheelchair accessible. Obviously, this trail is just a dirt path and it's maintained a little bit in winter, but not a lot. So for those reasons, I marked it as a 1.5, not accessible to wheelchair cachers. And then difficulty 1.5, it's not necessarily a 1. You wouldn't walk up to it and say, there it is on that post. It takes a little bit of time looking for it. And that's what people have written in the log. People who have found it since I placed it in September. They've just said, it took 10 to 15 minutes until I figured out where it was. So yeah, this is a bonus stream today. I didn't plan on streaming, and then I realized I still wanted to go back out and check on that cache that I had placed, make sure it wasn't still frozen in the non-freezing temperatures. Thought I'd get this little guy out for some exercise. Although his idea of exercise and my idea of exercise are vastly different. I know. Can someone ask Nightbot what the weather is here? I would, but I don't have a free hand. You're okay, I know. You have a sweater on, you're flying high, you're living life. Living your best life out here. Yeah, I know he looks super grumpy, but he's very warm and snuggly. He's actually quite sweet. Do you want to try walking? That would be pretty cool, wouldn't it? Alright, we're gonna give this a go. Whoop, out of the jacket. Alright, mon petit chou. Let's give it a... Yeah, okay. Look at you go. Do you smell any deer out here? Alright, let's keep going. Okay. So we're going to move on to another cache. Or just possibly this will be a dog walking in nature stream if this little guy can't make it there. That's okay. So there weren't any trackables in the caches coming up that I had found. I really wanted to take a trackable if we had found one up here, but so far no luck. it looks like they've kind of been emptied of trackables, including the ones that I placed there the last time I was here. So we'll just sort of stroll, take our time to get to those. There aren't as many on this trail as there could be. Caches are allowed to be placed 0.1 miles or 528 feet apart, but there's, I would say, some maybe every 2.2 to 0.3 miles apart. So could definitely get out here and place more trackables. Yeah, I just checked the geocaching app again, and it doesn't look like there are any trackables in the upcoming caches. All right, little dude, let's get moving. Come on, let's go. Now that I have a free hand, I can ask Nightbot what the weather is. The rain's kind of picking up. Whoops. Just sent Nightbot. That's not going to do anything. There we go. Okay, 47. Yeah, it's much warmer here than it has been. For the past couple days. When I first got here, it was 15 degrees on Thanksgiving. Whoop. Yeah, he's now. Need to be carried again? Nope. You're doing all right. Okay. It's 15 degrees and it's gotten progressively warmer every day since. Just maybe 5 degrees each day, but even still, that's pretty big to get us up to almost 50 degrees Fahrenheit today. It's pretty good caching weather if you don't mind caching in the rain. I don't mind caching in the light drizzle, but the torrential rain is kind of a no-go for me. I did go out on stream and look for a cache in the torrential rain and snow and sleet, and it was just incredibly unpleasant. I didn't find the cache I was looking for. I had to log a DNF on it. And went back the next day after the snow had melted and it had stopped raining and found that cache. So after today, I'll head back to the Mid-Atlantic area. Which I think will be good. It'll be just a little bit warmer down there, so we'll get more out of the fall season. You can see here the trees have pretty much shed their leaves altogether, getting ready for winter, and there's still some remaining snow on the ground, despite it being 50 degrees. In DC, Virginia, Maryland, it's almost as if they're a season or two behind. There's still leaves that are changing on the trees, leaves are still falling. Look at this one leading the way now. Wow, they clear cut a lot of the trees here. I didn't even recognize this area. There's the down telephone pole. Wow. Nope, we're going this way. Come on. Oh, I know. All right, I'll help you. Okay. Whew. I just picked him up and all the leaves are stuck to his paws because they're all muddy. Okay. And he's returned to being carried. He did a pretty good job walking for as long as he did. I will say that's usually a lot longer than I can usually get him to walk. And it is muddy out here, so we're a little bit muddy. Man, this area looks so different in the transitional fall season. Fish Pounder 1, thanks for following. Welcome to my stream. Pretty low-key one today, just sort of getting out and about with one of my parents' dogs. After so many cold days, you can see he's wearing a sweater today because even 50 degrees is a little bit colder than he would like. So you can imagine that after a couple of well below freezing days around the Thanksgiving holiday, he's feeling a little bit cooped up. I think he'd still rather be inside, but that's okay. He has to be treated like any other dog. They have to get walks and exercise. Oh yeah, thanks Nightbot. So I have a Discord set up. Feel free to join it. Anybody's welcome to come and chat. We talk about stuff discussed on stream, geocaching in general, interesting things that we found out geocaching. Yesterday I went out with my mom and my friend and we found, my friend found a letterbox. It wasn't a letterbox hybrid, but we were sort of talking in the Discord about the definition of letterboxing, how similar it is to the geocaching game. Man, this trail's pretty much deserted. Well, I guess that makes sense. Most people are at work today. Also, very exciting, I got affiliate last week. So I can now dole out that VIP status in chat, and I have a sub button. Pretty cool. And I have sub emotes as well. So I designed a compass. I'm pretty sure you guys can at least see it, even if you're not subscribed, but I'm pretty stoked about it. Captain Howie, how's it going? Letterboxing predated geocaching. This much I know, yeah. When I was reading the history about letterboxing last night, they were talking about how it had started in England, like hundreds of years ago. Obviously the game is different now, but yeah. It was really cool to find, for Ken to have found that letterbox, even though it wasn't a hybrid, so we couldn't log it on geocaching. It was neat and prompted us to sort of look up the history a little bit. Oh, and that reminds me, I meant to say in the Discord, I watched your video where you went to go place a cache and there was already a letterbox there. So, very cool stuff. I feel like as a cache owner now, I start to look at places as, oh, that would be a good place to put a cache. I would love to have a cache there. How cool would it be if there was a cache there? Kizza, how's it going? Oh, it happened 2 weeks ago. Okay. Oh, this is a recent video. Got it. Ooh. This looks like it came down a little while ago, but that's a pretty big tree to come down in a storm. Huh. All of this area looks so different with the leaves having fallen off the trees, and it looks like they did a little bit of clear cutting back here. So it's a little bit different than I remember it. Good, just chilling, about to drive to see Mo. I'm doing well. So I am out here. I was doing some cache maintenance earlier on the stream, checking out a cache that I had placed that was frozen solid on Thanksgiving Day in 15 degrees. But now I'm just out here walking these trails. I brought one of my parents' dogs with me. His name is Dwight. He's 3. And he does not like well, it's really a culmination of things. He doesn't like any temperature below 70 degrees, so he's in a holiday sweater. He does not like the mud. He does not like having his paws wet, but because he's a dog, he has to go out for a walk. So he did a little bit of walking on his own, and now I'm carrying him in one arm. He's very secure, don't worry. Yeah, he's adorable. He's very sweet to me, and to select others, not to strangers. Okay. So this is the same water crossing I came up to not too long ago. It looks like someone threw down a log to try and help with the water crossing, but that's not going to help us today. I'm going to try and walk up on the dry parts. Yeah, I love dogs too. I don't have a favorite breed. I love them all, and I love the dogs that we find out on stream. It's sort of an added bonus to geocaching in either urban areas or out in the woods. Earlier I had him tucked in my jacket, but now he's a little bit muddy, so I just have a good grip on him. He's sort of hanging over, riding co-pilot, just sort of surveying where we're walking. I guess 3 years old isn't necessarily a puppy, but I still think of him as a puppy because he's the runt of the litter. And when he's 6 pounds, he's overweight. So, practicing street smarts, crossing the street. Two or three is a baby. All right, awesome. I'm glad I'm not alone in that one. So in that case, my dog, he's a dachshund who I've taken out on stream and caching with me before. His name is Teddy. He's still a baby. Just a puppy. Alright, I think I'm going to pause for a second and actually put Dwight into my jacket because as I'm secure in my grip on him, but I just want to make sure that he's as warm and toasty as can be. He's a prince. He has a little high expectations. Okay. He reminds me of that dog. Well, he reminds me of two dogs. He reminds me of that dog in Legally Blonde. Is it Bruiser? Is it Bruiser or Bowser? Okay. And also of the Taco Bell dog, right? Gigi or whatever her name was. Okay. Sorry about the shaky camera. Gotta finagle this for a second. There we are. Look at that. Okay. Yeah, he really does only expect the best. I think posh is a good word for it. Yeah. He really is a sweetie pie, riding co-pilot, and he does like to be in the jacket. I think this is a very, I wouldn't recommend normally that people carry their dog in their jacket, but with him, because Chihuahuas really aren't built for New England winters. Gotta exercise caution to make sure he's not too cold. But he is adorable. Okay. And so we resume our nature walk. So I know I mentioned this earlier on stream, but thanks to Captain Howe, he did point out that it is the first day of hunting season in Massachusetts for deer, depending on the type of gun you're shooting with or hunting with. So I could have worn my orange vest, but I decided, because I did want to revisit my own cache, that I would just go in an area where no hunting is allowed, revisit my own cache, play it extra safe. More comfortable, better than a handbag, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Whew. Yeah, I don't blame him. I'm sure if I were a dog, I wouldn't want to get my paws wet and then just have to walk through the mud and the cold. We have shoes. He doesn't have shoes. I'm empathetic to the situation. So it's hard to tell. There's a construction crew that's sort of giving me strange looks. And you never know. Is it because I'm walking around with a selfie stick with a phone attached, or because I have a dog in my jacket? Gucci shoes. Gucci shoes for the Chihuahua. Oh my gosh, that's not justifiable. No way. I just blew the stop sign. Yep, just blew the stop sign. It's set up because this is predominantly a bike path and a horse path. I'm not sure it applies to pedestrians, but no, you never know. Maybe I'm a rabble rouser. I'm just out here rousing the rabbles. So yeah, this is actually the same trail I was on yesterday with my friend and my mom, out caching, where we found 3 caches in the letterbox. But was it 3 caches? No, it was 2 caches in the letterbox. Sorry, we had 1 DNF, which was a bummer. But it's just a different section of the trail in a different part, a different neighborhood, a different town. Brief part of this extends onto the road, and we'll hop back up on the trail. So I'm noticing kind of a trend with businesses that they're getting progressively more dog friendly. I think it's really cool. Like, you can go into the bank now, or certain banks, and they have dog biscuits there. Certain restaurants will have dogs friendly sections of their outdoor patio. I love it. I love this shift in business practice. Just a random note, as I was thinking about errands I have to run later, and I was thinking, which errands can I bring Dwight on? can definitely bring him to the bank. Whoop. Someone's out here with a whistle. That's alarming. Street smarts. Okay, we're good to go. So yeah, we're out here walking to 2 caches I have in mind. We already did cache maintenance on my own cache this morning, making sure that if it's greater than the temperature of freezing, that we're still able to wrestle the pill container out of the top of the gate post. And we are, so that's good. I'm just going to make a note in the description of the cache when I go home, letting people know that the cache might not be winter friendly, that if you're caching in freezing temperatures, that it's very possible the cache will ice over and you won't be able to pull the cache out. You might need to chip it out of the ice, but that seems like a far way to go. Also, you risk cache destruction, so this will also be a problem when the snow really starts to pile up here in the multitudes of feet. So I hadn't thought about what the cache will be like in winter. When I placed it, I was really trying to make sure that I made it as water resistant as possible, and I succeeded in that. That much is good, but yeah, I'll make a note. It's probably not winter accessible. Hey, Kazaa, thanks for following. Same to, let me see. Polecat Pete, thanks for following. Have I set any geocaching goals yet? First in a state, old caches, webcam caches. Oh, I used to get webcam caches when I was younger. I feel like they used to be much more prominent then. But geocaching goal for me right now is to accomplish Way to 81. So for those of you who are unfamiliar, the Way to 81 challenge is there are 81 different combinations of difficulty over terrain. So each cache is rated 1 out of 5 with half increments as an option for difficulty. Same goes for terrain. And you can get a cache that's 1 over 1, 1.5 over 1, 2 over 1, and so on and so forth. There are 81 combinations. So I would like to hit up one of every kind of difficulty over terrain measurement. Yeah, I'm excited. It's something that is more of a long-term goal. Those 5 caches, let me tell this story. I'll look at the camera. So there is a 5 terrain cache. I've never found a 5 terrain before in the area where I am right now, but because a lot of this area sits on water, another little stop sign. Because a lot of this area sits on water, they're only accessible by kayak or canoe. Now, we're not too far in the season because it's 50 degrees today that I couldn't rent a kayak or canoe and take it out on the river and try and get this cache. But considering that if things went wrong and I fell in the water, it would definitely be chilly. I'd be frozen to the bone. Definitely leave the water caches, I think, for spring, summertime. But then there are other caches where maybe I could climb a tree to get that 5 rating. Anyway, there are a lot of different combinations I think that I'll try and work my way up to, so that the time that I find that 5 terrain cache, I'm skilled as far as the difficulty and terrain measurements go. Own a few 5 terrain in Maine. Ooh, and I am not too far away from Maine. Okay. Okay, now, all right, I have all these thoughts rushing toward me now. So what I might do is hit you up offline to get those coordinates and see if I can actually map a trip and visit one of your caches if they're doable for me. Would be good content. Yeah, me falling in a river. Yeah. As long as I have the camera turned on, right? Unfortunately, the rest of my day would just be utterly miserable. Yeah, I know. I found a 3.5 terrain cache on stream just within the last week or so. And I think that's a good way to sort of work my way up, whether it's difficulty or terrain, sort of kind of earn that aptitude at the 5 terrain caches. Just a thought I had. Alright, your caches in Maine at their 5 terrain, 3+ hours for you, but once ice is in, you can walk to them. Oh! Are they underwater? Are they under one of the lakes or ponds? Oh, that'd be so cool. I don't mind driving 3 hours for a cache if there's a good hike involved. I can hit up a couple on the way. Okay, one which is underwater. Okay. 3 are on islands. That would be awesome. That would be a really great... I'm thinking when I'm back up in New England for the next holiday, thinking that'd be a really nice family stream. Get everybody in the car. We're all gonna go out and walk across the water to the islands. I know my family enjoys caching, but I think that might be a test of their caching patience or endurance. Okay, so the next cache is up here. I found it before. I just want to check on it to make sure there are no trackables in it. I wanted to grab a trackable while I was up here. Whoop. Okay. And if there are no trackables, then I'll move along to the next one, which is actually a travel bug hotel or motel. They're micro. What's the difficulty on those if the terrain is a 5? So you can see the lock and lock container under here. This cache was actually adopted because the last cache was in such bad shape. Just gonna do a quick check for, or sorry, it's just a sandwich box, it's not a lock and lock. So yeah, this cache was in such bad shape, someone else adopted it, so they took it over because they could maintain it better. Yeah, no trackables, just a well-maintained logbook and an eraser. Okay. Whoops. Sorry about that vertigo, folks. So I've replaced the cache. It's just where I found it. Average 2 difficulty. Oh, okay. So there's kind of an inverse relationship there between the terrain and the difficulty relationship. I think I would hold a little bit more confidence in my caching ability knowing that the difficulty rating was a little bit lower. Obviously, when I'm caching in the suburbs or in urban areas, like when I'm caching in urban areas or these suburban areas like I am today, you don't get much higher than a difficulty or terrain 2. A lot of them are going to be right off the sides of the roads or of trails, so I'd like to get myself into areas where I can slowly work up and get that weight 81 challenge. Okay. Coming down off the trail now. I just stepped maybe 10 paces off the trail to get to that cache. Want to make sure I don't slip because I obviously have this puppy in my jacket. Okay. Pretty easy to find, but hard to get to. Yeah, okay. Well, it's about the journey, not just the destination, right? Tax is a Ponzi scheme. Oh, that's a funny Funny Twitch name. So, great question. Who puts the cases there? So the cases are called caches. They can vary in any kind of size. They can be much larger or much smaller than the kind we just found. And everybody puts them there, really, who is a geocacher. So geocaching is this international treasure hunt. It's free to play. Anybody can sign up with the geocaching website, geocaching.com, and sign up to go out, find caches. And after you've found a certain number, they say, okay, you've found enough to know what a good cache hide looks like. Feel free to go out and place them. Then those caches are then approved by volunteers on the site who say your cache is accessible, it's maintainable. Other people can then go out and find it, and it's posted up onto the website with the coordinates and description for other users to then find. There are no real restrictions as far as who can put the caches there. You don't have to achieve a certain status. They usually recommend you have to find around 30 to 40 caches to understand what a good cache placement looks like. Right? Yeah. Okay. So there are over 3 million caches placed worldwide. The geocaching game has been in effect since 2000. What do I find in those caches? Well, it varies. A lot of times there's what my mom calls geo junk. So that could be old erasers, broken pencils, but a lot of children's toys, bouncy balls. Geocaching for the most part is kid friendly. So you find a lot of things that maybe a family would have put there. Little Transformer action figures, little army men. I know there's a Facebook group dedicated to the coolest things you've ever found in a cache. For me, I think a lot of the cool things I found in caches are trackable items, which are little tokens. Maybe they're keychains, little figurines, statues that are attached with a trackable letter number series, and you can go onto the geocaching website and see where that trackable has been before. How many miles has it logged? Where in the country or where in the 7 continents has it been? So that's what I'm out here doing today, looking at a couple of caches to see if there are trackables. I know where these caches are because I've been to them before. I didn't check. I thought it'd be less fun if I checked the website or the app before I headed out, so I'm just going to where I know these caches are and not checking the website beforehand to see if there have been trackables logged, and we'll find out together. And today I brought one of my parents' dogs. His name is Dwight. He does not like the cold, the rain, or the mud, so today is really his ideal of a perfect geocaching day. So he's riding in my jacket. Legion 1970, thanks for following. Yeah, I think some of the coolest quote-unquote geojunk is in FTF caches. So if you're the first to find, or FTF. One second, I gotta cross. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So if you're the first to find, I've seen there are video games in some caches, like newly released video games. Maybe maybe some money or foreign coins. That's actually the next cache we're going to. It's a travel bug hotel, so a place where people can exclusively trade trackable items and also foreign currency. So the next cache is going to be a little bit off the trail, kind of into the woods, and I have not thought about how this little guy is going to do in the woods. I know, you're going to have to give it your best shot. Yeah. This is Dwight. He's 3 years old. And we're off to find that final cache this morning. I set off, well, not really hunting for, because I've been to all of these before, but just sort of checking in on these for trackables to see if there are any I can bring back to the mid-Atlantic area before I fly back there. Also, one of these caches that I was looking at this morning was my own, that I had placed in the top of a gate post to see if it was survivable for the colder months. It looks like on days like today, where it's 50 degrees and well above freezing temperatures, it will be accessible, but on days where, like on Thanksgiving when I first went out to revisit it, it was 15 degrees and it had been frozen in with some ice to the top of this gate post. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be winter accessible for most of winter in New England. And that's the reality of this outdoor sport or game. So I'm kind of surprised. We've been walking out here since 11 and we have found no muggles. So muggles are non-geocachers, people who might be interested to see what Dwight and I are doing out here and might take the cache by accident. We have seen no one this morning, probably because it's a Monday morning. It's a work day after the holiday. Captain Howie, if gaming is a sport, I guess you can call geocaching a sport. Yeah, I like to think of it as kind of a sport. There's some athleticism required, right? There are point totals, as we've discussed in the Friend League, but I think most people would probably refer to it as a game. Also, to go back to taxes and Ponzi schemes question, a totally fair question about what do you usually find in the caches. The point of the caches is not so much the geo-junk that you'll find in it, those pencils or army men or figurines. It's more about the logbook. That's what really matters to geocachers, is signing the logbook with your initials for your username for the geocaching site as proof that you actually found that cache. That's why a lot of micro caches or nano caches they only have the logbook in them. That's because the important bit is signing that log and the date you were there, folding it back up and moving on. The geo-junk is kind of an added bonus. Yeah, this area's had a lot of bad wind. Just been noticing a lot of the trees that have come down since I was last out here. There is a really cool cache, or so I've heard, I've never been able to find it, with a terrain rating of 4 out of 5 just further down this trail. And the reason the terrain rating is so high is in the wet season it's completely inaccessible, and in the dry season it is more accessible. It's just hanging from a tree over the river, as I understand. So my friend and I went out in the wet season a couple of years ago, hiked up our pant legs, and crossed the river multiple times across multiple crossings to try and get to this cache, and we still couldn't get it. It was still many, many river crossings down from us, maybe 0.2 miles away, so about 1,000 feet. That was one where we unfortunately had to let it go, but it's always haunted me seeing that. I didn't log as a DNF because I was never actually at the site close enough to look for it, but it still haunts me that I haven't gone back in the dry season to go and actually look for it. So we're almost to where we need to be. There is a truck and an open car door, which makes me think there are muggles. What do you think, Dwight? Scare him off with your ferocious bark. Yeah, over 3 million caches worldwide. I think it's pretty incredible for the game only having been around for 18 years. If you think about it, how long football and baseball have been around, they've been around for a lot longer, so geocaching is still in its infancy as far as the game goes. And the technology is getting so much better. Just how they're able to improve the app and integrate the compass and coordinate features. And you're able to get the description and the hint of all the caches on your phone. I really appreciate that. It really is an update from when I had my old Garmin GPS tracker and print out the coordinates and description for a cache before I went out to go geocaching. And then you'd plug your coordinates into your Garmin GPS tracker, and you couldn't cache on a day like today because the coordinates would be bouncing around on the cloudy days or in high tree cover areas. So one way to get to this cache is to cut through the field here. Because there are people over there, I'm gonna take the woodsy route, walk further down this trail, and then cut up through the woods to get to this cache. Or such is my hope. At some point, I'm gonna have to put Dwight on the ground so he can walk for himself, because I don't think I can carry the phone, the dog, and find the cache. I have to say, normally I don't geocache with the dog in my jacket, but today I'm going to battle with the army I have. And today, it's this 6-pound nugget. So he was a rescue from Puerto Rico in 2016, so before the big hurricane hit. Was it Irma last year? Yeah. Yeah. So looking at this travel bug hotel for trackables, hopefully I can take some back to DC. Because this travel bug hotel, there should be some trackables in there. That's kind of the purpose. That or foreign currency is what this cache is designated for. But I didn't check the stats on the cache before I came out. So you'll be finding out as I do if there are trackables. So this is the woodsy cut through I was thinking of. I'm gonna just sneak through here. Oof. And hopefully not attract the attention of muggles. Back over there. This is all publicly accessible, and the cache owners have to get permission to place the trackables, place the caches. So we know that whoever placed this cache told the landowner that folks would be coming by to look for this on their property. Whoa. There wasn't all this water here before. Oh my gosh. Wow, okay. Well, like I said, this area runs right along a river. So that's what we're up against on the rainy days, I guess. The river overflowing. So the cache is in this series of rocks. I was able to navigate that without having to put Dwight down. I have a feeling he would not walk on these wet leaves if I asked him to. So the cache was before somewhere down here. There it is, hiding behind that log. Remove the log. Here's the cache. It's a lock and lock with some camo duct tape and the geocaching logo on top. So sorry folks, I'm holding cache with one hand. You can see Dwight is very interested in what's going on. Okay, so lift this up. There's the logbook. We have foreign money from Bermuda and Mexico. Ooh. Is that Chairman Mao? Is this Chinese currency? Yeah. So, yuan. Cool. I'm just putting these up on a rock. I don't think I'm going to take any of these. I didn't bring anything to drop off. Actually, no, I did bring some geo junk, but this cache owner has requested only foreign currency and trackables to be in here. I've looked through all of this. These are all coins that have been individually baggied by an enthusiast, and no trackables in here. So you can see someone who had stopped by said, I'm a coin collector, I've chosen this treasure in hopes of inspiring someone new to appreciate numismatic beauty. Cool. So different types of coins, foreign coins. I think it's a really cool idea for a cache to give it a purpose between trackables and foreign currency. You kind of know what the geojunk is going to be instead of just old erasers. And I really like how this person has individually baggied up their coins with a little personalized note. That's pretty cool. So no trackables, which is kind of a bummer, but it's cool to look at that currency. Yeah, I really like it. Polecat Pete, it's pretty nice. This person's done the same thing where they left a personalized note. I'm gonna replace that. I'm gonna put the one underneath just so it's kind of insulated by the Ziploc baggies. Logbook is replaced. I've already signed this log in a past excursion. So, no trackables. That's a bummer. So frustrating. It says there's a travel bug in it. They're gone. Yeah, it is really frustrating because maybe it's been muggled. Who knows why it's gone? Someone forgot to log it. I have tracked down a trackable before. I'm just going to replace this. And I'll tell you the story of how I tracked down a trackable. Okay. Dwight just jumped out of my jacket, so I think he's done riding. Wants to walk on his own. Oh, gotta put this back where it was before. Here we go. fairly well disguised by this log. Okay, ready to go? Yes, he is. He's leading the way. So, and for clarification, I did not look up to see if there actually was a trackable in this. We're gonna go out this way. In this cache before I came out, I just sort of figured we'd find out together on stream. So I'm not sure if there was one logged in there or not, but I do know it's a travel bug hotel, so usually there are some in there. Not today though. So the time that I tracked down a trackable, a couple of trackables, there were 7 listed on a cache, 7 or 8 listed on a cache in DC. I have to figure out how to get out of here. Dwight, I can't fit through there. Oh no, that's okay. Yeah, no, I hadn't checked this particular cache, just because it's a trackable hotel. I figured a travel bug hotel, I'd take my chances. Sorry, I'm just gonna navigate out of here, and I really do want to tell this story of how I tracked down some trackables, but kind of caught on some twigs here. There we go. Okay, yeah, no worries. So, let's recap. Dwight's walking on his own again. He got tired of being in the jacket, I think, which is good. Get some exercise, stretch those legs. So, the story of how I tracked down some trackables. There was a cache in DC that was listed as having 8 trackables in it. It was a small, and I was really excited. I didn't want to grab all 8, but I wanted to at least go grab a couple. So I went out and got to the cache. It was pretty easily found, kind of dangerously easy. It was in a really heavily traversed tourist area of DC, and like if I had placed it, I probably would have given a little more thought to make sure it was better disguised. And sure enough, I open it up and it's empty. There's just the logbook and a little golf tee pencil. So 8 trackables missing. It's kind of a big deal. You think maybe a muggle came along and took all 8. And sure enough, I went back in the logs and was scrolling through the logs of past users, and someone had written, "Thanks for all these awesome trackables, gonna move them along." It was a geocaching user who had found all 8, taken them. I don't know if he intended to collect them, but he just didn't log them. So I wrote to him and said, "Hey, I was hoping to grab one of these trackables. Have you placed them already, and where have you placed them? Can you please log them?" And he was like, "Oh yeah, I grabbed them, a couple weeks ago. I just haven't logged them yet. I will eventually." Okay. Now, I try to log my trackables like at least the same day that I find them. So it was kind of irritating. And then after I had logged my visit to that cache, the owner of one of the trackables wrote to me and said, "This is a coin that's visited all 7 continents." It was a little coin attached to a keychain, that kind of trackable. And he was like, "It's visited all 7 continents. I can't lose this." Also, if you can't lose an item, maybe don't place it as a trackable, because people do tend to swipe them or muggle them or collect them. And he said, "Was it in there?" And I said, "No, it wasn't, but it's been taken by this user, because he and I just had a conversation about this." And he was like, "Thanks for letting me know." I gave him the user's information and connected those two. I don't typically do that. That's pretty well and above, I think, what's expected of just a fellow geocacher. Usually you're not playing Nancy Drew trying to connect the person who took the trackables with the trackable owner, but that was a unique situation because this user had taken 8 trackables, and this cache owner, or this trackable owner, was looking for this trackable and was tracking its progress pretty closely. So that's my tale of my severe trackable frustration when people just take them and collect them. I haven't followed up, and I don't think I will, with either the trackable owner or the person who claimed to have taken them and just not logged them for a couple weeks. Yeah. Take from that what you will. Just don't take trackables, right? All right, we're well on our way. So in summary, we visited 3 caches today. One of them was mine. Just did a little bit of cache maintenance. I'll go back and update the description of the cache to let people know that in icy weather or in freezing temperatures it might not be accessible. Then we visited another cache, just looking, 2 other caches, just looking for trackables. No dice, even in the trackable hotel, travel bug hotel. That surprises me. But it's all good. It just means we won't be taking any back to DC with us. I brought 2 up from DC, Virginia with me on this trip and dropped them both off a couple nights ago in a forest, farm, park combination here in Massachusetts. I know. And we brought Dwight, who's hung in there like, especially well. So I'm sort of winding down the stream here. Feel free to throw your questions at me if you have any. And also, join the Discord if you want to talk more about stuff that we discussed on stream, or just sort of join some fellow geocachers. Definitely willing to hear your favorite trackable annoyance story. Looks like the rain has stopped for the most part, so that's good. Dwight agrees. Man, even that sweater is too big for him. It's kind of balled up. So yeah, I'll post when I'm streaming next in the Discord, also on Twitter, and also if you come into... Oh good, alright, Captain Howie put the trackable story in the Discord, awesome. I'll also type out my trackable story with more detail and put it in there, sort of giving the Cliff Notes version. But yeah, I look forward to checking that out. So if you type !schedule into the stream chat at any time, Nightbot will tell you when I'm streaming next. I don't have any dates put up there quite yet because I need to look ahead and see what my week looks like as I return to work coming off of the holiday. But for the most part, I usually stream every Saturday and Sunday, and lately I've been streaming Thursdays and Fridays as well. But I'm a morning person, so I like coming out here in the mornings. And I'll be back in the Mid-Atlantic area this week. Dwight is on a scent. My parents have 2 hound dogs, one basset hound and one foxhound. So Dwight kind of emulates behaviorism he sees from them. Sniffing and being on the trail is one of those things. Oh yeah, no worries on the spelling. All right, let's go. Yeah. Yeah, so I'll definitely be out there on Saturday and Sunday. Typically in the morning, because I'm a morning person, so usually in the 10 to 11 range. But I will see if there are some caches we can do on Thursday and Friday. Either way, I'll keep you posted on the various sites. But thanks to folks who are watching today and came out looking for trackables with me and Dwight. I think I am going to try and take him to the bank and see how that goes. Do you need to be carried? No? You're going to do it alone? Okay. Okay. Here we go. It's funny to see him chase after squirrels because he's about the size of a squirrel. Maybe a little bit taller. His legs are about 8 inches long. So he stands a little bit taller off the ground, but his body is definitely the size of a squirrel. And they have the tail, so I really think it's a fair match. And he will go after them at full speed with a full gait. Alright, so kind of winding down here. I'm going to end the stream pretty soon. Thanks again to those of you who keep the chat active. It's definitely fun for me to converse with you guys as I'm out between caches. Last looks. Oh. Yeah, we didn't run into any muggles today, which is pretty impressive for a morning of caching. I guess, everyone's in work today, this morning, but alright. So yeah. Kind of winding down. We'll end the stream in a little bit. I still need to figure out how to raid from the third-party host that I use to stream, because that would be pretty cool. Send you guys over to some streams you should definitely check out in the travel and outdoors or makers and crafts section. All right, I think we're gonna sign off now. So, a final thank you for watching the stream. I'm trying to show you Dwight here so you can get the full impact of his adorableness. Yeah, so thanks for following and, oh, Muggle. We went the whole stream without seeing anybody. And as I'm getting ready to sign off, one Muggle. Okay, yeah, so definitely check out the Discord. And that's where I'll be later. And thanks for watching, and for those of you who followed, thank you very much. And keeping the chat active. I always appreciate being able to converse with you guys. So have an awesome Monday and a good rest of your week, and I'll talk to you later. Yeah. Oh, hey, Hyperlink, yeah. Cuteness overload is right. This is Dwight. All right. Bye, folks.